it's Ian from RTO. Welcome to Battle Royale Group E. As we and Dave called it, the electronic and new wave singles. Today we have got 4 more singles to go through to see who joins the rest of them in the round of 16. Only the top 2 will go through from this group. So today we're going to start off, as we always do, with the band that released their song first. And today we're going to start off with the Motors and Love and Loneliness, put in by Michael from Japan, Ricefield Records. All things Japanese records on his, and about the different cultures and that. It's a really good channel, and if you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. And he, of course, is a regular member on the panel on a Thursday night, so we all know who Michael is. So the Motors are actually a British pub brand that were formed in 1977 by 4 members of another band, Dux Deluxe, Nick Garvey and Danny McAllister. Had 1 or 2 people come through. Rob Hendry was originally, and then they had in 1970s Bram Tchaikovsky and then drummer Rick Slaughter. What a name. But they are more remembered for Airport from 1978. Now, Love and Loneliness came out in January of 1980, and Nick Garvey did the vocals and guitars, and he actually plays the piano on this song as well. But Andy McAllister vocals and keyboards, Martin Ace on the bass, rhymes, and Terry Williams on the drums. Now, I do remember this song very well, and I always thought it was one of the best intros of that early synth and guitar. It's got a really good beat to this. It's quite a poppy song. And you remember, this is 1980, so there was a bit of a transition in music. It wasn't complete new wave, but it was still in that way. But I do love that keyboard thing all the way through. This wasn't as big a success as Airport, but it is a really good song. There's other elements of this I like. The bass line from Martin Ace, very solid, and it really does glue the song together. There's always one element that really glues, and this is it. Plus Terry Williams' drumming. It's very solid engine room on this. It's also got some really nice guitar bits from Nick Garvey, a very underrated guitar player actually. If you've ever listened to some of their album stuff, it's pretty good. Well, this was the sort of, the band was sort of on they'd had their peak, they was on their downward spiral, but I still think this is one of their good tracks. I think it could have done a little bit better in the charts. If it gets through, we'll talk about that in the next stage. But it's a really good song, and it's one that I do remember very well. So good luck to Michael. Hope he does a little bit better than Free Willy. So our second contestant comes from a new person to the taking part, and his name is Brian Jones, and he put in David Bowie's Ashes to Ashes. Now, Ashes to Ashes, of course, comes from the great David Bowie, and it was a song off his 14th album, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Again, it came out in 1980. So playing on here, we've got Mr. David Bowie on lead and backing vocal, Chuck Hammer, love that name, Roland GR 500 guitar synthesizer, Carlos Alomar on the rhythm guitar, Andy Clark, Mini Moog Yamaha CS80 synthesizer, Roy Bitton flanged piano, George Murray on the bass, Dennis Davis on drums, Tony Visconti on shaker and other percussion. Once again, David Bowie reinvented himself. And this is really, really good. It's got an interesting drum beat on this. I do like David's vocal on this as well. But I think you've got to, if we look at the other little bits as well on this, I can't hear Tony Visconti's shaker, but I do like the keyboards on this. That little plinky sound, really, really good. I mean, apart from David's fine vocal, it is a very sort of deep song. It's quite moody, but it can be uplifting as well. It's got such a catchy tune, that ding ding ding. You really think. I like the bass line in it as well. Plus it has got a fantastic video to it, and I think this is one of the best songs of 1980 as well. It's a terrific song, and I do like playing this one personally. So it's produced, of course, by Tony Visconti. So let's move on to the next contender. Once again, this is a new person into it, and it is Clen, and they have put in New Order's Blue Monday, which is their 5th single, and it was released on the 12-inch single back in March of 1983. It does appear on certain cassette and CD versions of Power, Current, Richmond and Live. It was written by the band themselves, and the people playing on it, of course, is Bernard Sumner on vocals, keyboards and programming, Peter Hook 6-string bass, electronic percussion, Stephen Morris on keyboards and programming, and Gillian Gilbert on keyboards and programming. Now, I think this has got one of the most iconic intros of the 80s. Now, this is sort of when they started to change over and lose their sort of Joy Division stuff, moved on, and this is that track, I think, that really changed it. That the drumming machine programming on it is perfect. It's so precise, and I love how it starts with that quietness, and then you get that lovely bass line from Peter Hook. And I love that. Lots of effects on this, and then of course you get the wonderful Bernard vocal, that deadpan, I see a ship in the harbour sort of thing. The thing about this, it was only available on 12-inch. I did have it, but I don't know what happened to it. It's really bugging me. I'm sure it was half-inched, which is such a shame. But it is an iconic track. It was that start of the transformation. Probably one of their best songs ever, I think. It is really where I sort of paid more attention to this as an electronic song. I was still in the middle of doing me headbanging stuff, but this song really did wake me up. It still remains one of my favourite songs of the 80s. So good luck to Clen on your first entry into the competition. And our last one today is an old stalwart of the channel. He's been supporting us from way back. I think it's, of course, Charles White, the man who came up with the nickname for Dave. And he's put in the Stone Roses, I Wanna Be Adored. Stone Roses was a band that wasn't here for long, but they did have a big impact. And it was the first track they released on their debut album, the classic And playing on here for us was Ian Brown on the vocals, Manny on the bass guitar, Rennie on the drums, and John Squire guitars. Now this is one of them singles that got released in America before the UK, which is very strange. And it was released in 1989 in America, but 1991 here in the UK. I love the start of this. I like the effects with the wind and the rain, and I'd say it's one of the most outstanding songs on their debut album. It's got that certain eeriness, and the drum beat from Rennie is fantastic. And I do love Ian Brown's vocal on this. It's quite eerie. It's got I love the sort of echoey that you get on it as well. I think it's probably Ian Brown's best vocal he ever did in the Stone Roses. The bass line for Manny is just absolutely brilliant. I just don't understand why it didn't get released earlier in this country. It's an iconic song from the late 80s, early 90s. It's a shame they didn't hang around, to be quite honest, because I think they would have gone on to be really big. I mean, even in their short career, they made an impact. And I will always say this is probably the best single they ever released. So there we go. There are today's contenders. So good luck to Michael. Good luck to Brian. Good luck to Clen, and good luck to Charles. So how do you vote for these? Well, at 2 p.m. Well, this is when this goes out. This goes out at 2 p.m. and you'll be able to watch the video, watch the little short, and also if you want to listen to the full track, I always put the link to the Spotify playlist that's got all the songs that are in the competition. So if you follow the links in the bottom of this on the community, it'll show you where to vote. And that opens again. It'll be open now, and it closes at 23:59 next Wednesday. And then Dave will tell us who goes through next Thursday on the live stream. So good luck to everybody. And next week we have got Generations. Some interesting singles in that as well. So that's all for this one. Good luck, and don't forget to go and vote for these fantastic songs. Coming up next today, we have got Pick and Mix, and this week it's in the camera's view. I'm going to look at War of the Worlds live on stage. So join me for that later. Bye for now.